Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jack Fruits. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? Hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. I want to be clear about something. We haven't talked about hip-hop in a long time. We're going to get back to our hip-hop roots. We're going to be talking about all of the things hip-hop in the next couple of days. We're still going to talk about the political things that we talk about because I'm just going to be honest with you. I think that we kind of have a responsibility, if we have any type of voice at all, even if you got 2 or 3 people listening to you, to talk about how we can, and I don't want to say make America great again because I don't really want to make this a MAGA thing. I think I don't like that somehow wanting America to be great is negative. I don't understand that. But let's not even harp on that particular anomaly. I just think that sometimes we need to discuss some of these things that's going on because obviously a lot of the news and a lot of the mainstream media specifically is putting out narratives and just asking silly questions and not even trying to get down to the bones and the gristle of the whole matters. So that's why we do that. In any regard, today we're going to be talking hip hop. Like I said, again, we're going to be talking hip hop for the next couple of days. Let's keep it real. Yo, the trial started today. I'm going to tell you what, we're going to try to make it to every day after today. Fox, copy? We're going to try to, because remember, I have other obligations now that I didn't have previously. But we will try to make it to starting next week. I will be going to because I'm assuming that there's going to be no court on Friday. I'm assuming Friday there's not going to be any court. I'm assuming that court is going to be Monday through Thursday at this point for a trial like this. So we will try to be down there on the subsequent days after, on the days prior to, after these days, subsequent days after this. We will try to be there. I'm going to have to make some concessions and figure this out, but we're going to try to make sure that we are at court. Copy. Salute. Let's just give a shout out to everybody in the comment section right now. Shout out to Brandon Washington. He says, hey, Frost, morning, BBN fan. Bam, salute. Hope everyone is having a great day. Bless up. Hope you having a great day. Also, my brother, always appreciate to have you here. What up, Fox 5 Team Healthy? He says, we all of the healthiness is. He says, top of the morning, you at the trial. I said, all of the answers I just gave 2 seconds ago. You the man. What up, show enough? He says, Grand Rising, everyone. Cappies. So I want to be clear about this. We're going to be talking about the situation that's happening right now in the K-Flock trial. It is absolutely bananas. Exactly. No court on Friday. Boom. You already know. We know. God, let's get it. So it's been absolutely bananas. We're going to be talking about that situation. And now we're going to make sure that we start talking about the Little Ronnie G situation also. Because I just want to be clear on this. When a person first came into our chat and spoke about how there was he was like, yo, there's the gas station. The guy got shot with his kid. And as horrible as that is, I didn't know at that minute what the story was because I had not heard about the story at that moment. So I didn't know that this was a rap. I didn't know that this was inside of the hip hop world. And I also didn't understand the complexities of this particular matter. And the main reason why we're going to be speaking about this, other than the fact that this was just an absolute tragedy, and we're going to be talking about how it came about, is the behavior of the mother after the situation has just happened. We have to change our perspective or our opinion of what our culture is. Some of these things that we're doing is not our culture. So after I saw the behavior of the mother, I said this is a story that I have to look much more closer to. We're going to be talking about that. Also, a friend of the program, Gongu Roach, goes on to have an interview. And in this interview, he talks about the matters regarding Fat Joe and Big Pun's estate. Now, with that being said, he's come on our platform and spoke about it previously, so we're going to talk about that also. We're going to talk about I got a clip for you. We're going to talk about actually some of the things that he said on this particular platform that he was speaking on, but just as importantly, he's been on here previously and have had conversations with us. I'm pretty sure I have him in the title of a couple of our videos. Shout out to Gongu. I'm not going to go back and look at the videos because I could literally go back and find the videos now. We'll do it in a future date so we could just keep the show going. So with that being said, I got a couple of clips to show you. I got a couple of, let's go straight to the reports of this. So let's talk about K Flock first. For everybody that don't know, K Flock is a Bronx rapper from River Park Towers, RPT. He's a drill rapper. He is currently on trial for the unaliving of one of his ops. There's a video of it. In this particular video, what you see is the individual that was unalived was inside of a barbershop. K Flock walking past the barbershop. It looks like he motions into the barbershop or points, or he makes a gesture towards the inside of the store. And then I believe at one point or another, it goes a little bit further. I don't want to lead too much into it. I just want to explain to you that a man was in the store. K Flock passed by the store. Upon K Flock passing by the store with his sister that he was with, said man then came out of store, walked down the block as K Flock and said man shouted at one another, and then at one point or another, K Flock pulled out a pistol, and the man was unalived. That's the meat and potatoes. K Flock then ran. When police was chasing him, he threw the gun. The gun was, I believe, recovered. He threw the gun. He was apprehended. So now he's on trial for that. Yesterday, one of his friends takes the stand and basically explains that the man that K Flock shot and unalived, K Flock had been talking about he was going to get this dude for some time. But you want to know why? Because the friend that was on the stand testified that the reason why K Flock wanted to shoot this dude is because that dude had shot him. So, you know how I'm constantly talking about stop getting into these arguments with these dudes on the street? You know, I'm constantly like, look, I don't have no beef with none of you street dudes. I don't want no problems with y'all. Because none of this is, do you understand? This dude got shot. His man went and shot the dude that shot him, and now he's in court testifying against his man. Where the loyalty? Now, I'm not saying anyone should have been shooting anyone, and I'm not siding with any of this BS. But what I'm saying is, why are y'all outside with this type of behavior when there is nothing else except getting caught? Could you tell me the last time one of these street dudes killed somebody and got away with it? Like, how often does that happen? Like, that's not a big enough deterrent? It's not a big enough deterrent to not go out and shoot the block up because nobody ain't getting away with it. Most people get caught. That's not a big enough deterrent. Let's look at some of what happened in court. This is, fam, how do the dude that you put in the work for get on the stand and finger you? No pun intended. because he's in prison currently. Anyway, thought I had to explain that joke because he's locked up, he's in jail. Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about that too, and we're gonna be talking about that. The first thing I want to show you is this. They've been in court how many days? So the Associated Press ain't even talking about it? They've been in court how many days? Skinny from the 9 reported on it. They be in court how many days? Why can't I find anything from the Associated Press? Rolling Stone talked about it on the 23rd. Okay. Ain't this crazy about how our media is actually important? So when you got people doing what I'm doing, it should be, at the very least, appreciated. Look. So the news you want to know about, the Associated Press don't even care. I just want to point that out. I thought that was slick. Check this out. So let's go here. So K Flock reportedly shot a man who had shot his friend in 2020, only for the same friend to take the stand and testify against him today. In 2020, K Flock's friend Vance Bronnington was shot, and K Flock promised to have his back, allegedly going after the man responsible. Now that same friend is testifying against him in court, revealing that K Flock was the one who unalived the man. The trial began this week, and things already not looking good for K Flock as he faces a minimum sentence of life if convicted. Now I'm going to explain 2 things is about to happen as far as this case is concerned. The first thing is this. A ton of his people is, if y'all think that this, with all due respect, and this is not me trying to shoot at anybody, but do y'all really think that this is the only dude that's about to talk on K Flock? That's his friend? You think this is the only one? K Flock is caught, as far as the video evidence is concerned, dead to rights. The only good thing that I can see coming out of this, and that's if his attorney knows how to argue logic and reason, or he's actually considering this is actually a good reason for K Flock to have believed that his life was in danger. Because this is the man that shot his friend. I thought my life was in danger. I wasn't in court, so I don't know how the lawyer handled it. But just so we could be clear, this isn't a complete loss for K Flock. If this is decided that you want to come out on, I just want what's right to happen, just so we could be clear. But an argument could be made by K Flock's lawyer that the fact that that dude did shoot his friend led him to believe that he was reaching for a gun. He's already shot one of us. That sounds like a reasonable reason to be in fear. Now, how well that argument could be made is depending on what's going to happen, because K Flock was caught dead to rights. They have him on video. They caught him at the scene. I believe they recovered the firearm. The best advice I can give to the family of anyone who gets caught in a situation like this, and this is just because, just for all fairness, the best advice I could give to the family of anyone caught in a situation like this is to never speak with anyone. Don't talk to anyone. Don't say anything. Don't talk to anything. Don't converse with anyone. Don't say anything other than the facts has to come out. Don't talk about innocence. Don't talk about guilt. Just saying. That's the best advice I could give for in a situation like this. Don't talk about innocence. Don't talk about guilt. We're waiting for the facts of the matter to come out. Because y'all just be screwing y'all people over. That's more about the next story that I'm going to talk about than this one, just so we can be clear. It's more about the next story we're going to be talking about, the story with Little Ronnie G. And just so we could be also even more clear, I don't want to hear people talk about morals and principles anymore. I don't want to hear it. Because the streets haven't been operating with morals and principles since who knows when. I'm going to tell you one of the dopest scenes in any movie, and nobody really talks about this. And this is the reason why Tony Montana is a hero. One scene made him a hero. All of the terrible shit that he did. It's one scene. I'm not saying he's an actual hero. I'm saying it makes him a hero to the people that's viewing the movie, whether they realize it or not. It's one scene that makes Tony Montana a hero, whether you realize it or not. It just triggers your brain. When he refused to kill that man because he was in the car with his children. Think about that. Think about how that changed the whole concept of who that man was from that point of the movie after. For you. So I don't want to hear any more principles and morals and all that other shit when we talking about the streets. Because if the streets had principles and morals, like the streets used to have principles and morals, people just wouldn't be moving the way they moving. If you was just a regular dude with a regular job, you wouldn't really have to worry about some street niggas trying to do some weirdo shit. You understand? Because niggas acted against their own. It was about protecting the block. How could you be protecting the block from a nigga that got a regular job not doing no crimes? It was about protecting your block. Yeah, you sold whatever drugs you was selling and you did whatever you was doing, but you protected the neighborhood. There's none of that now. I'm not going to say there's none of that. That's not fair. But when you could have, speaking about the Little Ronnie G situation, when you could have a situation where they see you, but I'm going to tell you what I believe happened. I don't think they knew that the little girl was in the car. I don't think they knew. I think they just saw him cleaning out his car, ran up on him, and then just blacked. I just don't think they knew. I would hope that they didn't know. Because if they did know, then what in the hell is going on with us? And this is why people like my son, where's my son at right now anyway? Anybody know where my son is? Anybody know where my son is at? Anybody know where these guys is at? Anybody? Because they wanted us, I just wanted to throw this out there. They wanted us to vote for Biden so bad because Trump was a racist. But then when Biden got in the office, he did jack squat for black people. Tamika Mallory got a commercial with Lincoln though. Remember her Lincoln commercial? The car commercial. So she got to pay out. Right? Just saying. Remember when they was trying to convince y'all that we should get rid of the police and let just regular people with no training at all police their neighborhoods? Now I'm going to put you on the game. You know you can just police your neighborhood. You can just form a local militia. Y'all can meet at a place. And then as you police your neighborhood and then crime goes down because people are just conducting themselves more humanely, not even necessarily because anybody's getting beat up or arrested, but just, we care now. You know what happens? Less police come around because there's less of a need for them. So literally, if you wanted the police out of your neighborhood, all you have to do is lower the crime rate. Just gonna throw that out there. Just gonna throw that out there. Okay, so we can just create militias. This is why I laugh at some of the things that people say. We can just create militias, fam. Like, people in your neighborhood could just get together and create a militia that has to be recognized by the local municipalities. You do know this, right? These things are not illegal. The reason why I'm saying that is because my son was making it seem like these things were not possible. All of these things you can just go do. But he was making it seem like it wasn't possible as long as the police existed. Now imagine there's no police right now, right? Police are gone. We defunded the shit out of the police. There's only 1 out of every 3 police officers left. So what was going to happen when they shipped all of those migrants here? Let's talk about this Little Ronnie G situation real quick. What was going to happen when they shipped the migrants here? This is what I mean. People don't think, man. That's why I don't pay no attention to the Democrats. All right, so we're going to talk about the Little Ronnie G situation for a little while. I want to explain something real quick, and this is what I'm going to talk about this specifically. I picked these 2 first stories I wanted to talk about because in both of these stories is people doing bad behavior and other people not sticking up for them and them being held accountable. So I want to be clear. I'm not angry or think that the dude that went out there and is now testifying against K-Flock is wrong. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the murder should have never, the unaliving should have never happened. That's what I'm saying. I got to be clear on this because I know sometimes some of the things I say might be vague and people are like, yo, you're saying that K-Flock should get away with it. That's what Jackson said. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it should have never happened. And the reason why it should have never happened is because y'all out here doing all of these different crimes that's going to put you away forever. You know his minimum is life? His minimum is life. I read that somewhere. His minimum is life. Or at least it was at one point or another. I don't know if it still is. You're out here committing crimes with people, doing all of these things with people. Then those same people, when they get their back against the wall, point the finger. The crime should not have been committed. I'm not blaming them for snitching. You shouldn't have committed the crime. I just want to be clear on that. There's no telling what kind of, they probably got that guy up on some kind of crazy ass charges, and he trying to stay out of prison also. Like, come on, fam. You committing crimes with other people that also need to stay out of prison or whatever. Anyway, Forest Hill police revealed that one of the suspects in early March fatal shooting of Fort Worth rapper Little Ronnie and his 5-year-old daughter used his girlfriend's vehicle to allegedly commit the crime, according to a newly released arrest affidavit. So when I first heard that she was telling on them, and once again, I do not consider her to be wrong, I was under the impression that she had more to do with this. So basically, he dropped her off at work, then went and took her car and committed a crime. This is the type of dudes y'all chicks is out here having 20 kids with. I'm just gonna say it. I had 20 kids with this guy. On March 6, police arrested 24-year-old Adonis Robinson in Livingston, northeast of Houston. A second suspect, 21-year-old Jacoby Russell, turned himself in a day later and was arrested by U.S. Marshals. So I'm assuming this was the boyfriend, Adonis. So once he got caught up, they probably, called the other guys, a location the other guy probably was at and was like, we're looking for you. And he just was like, yo, they gonna catch me. I'm gonna turn myself in. Neither one of these fools should see the light of day. Both are now facing capital unaliving charges in the shooting of 30-year-old Little Ronnie sibling, and his, I hope I said that right, and his 5-year-old daughter. Happened on March 3rd. Sloppy's car wash. It's crazy. It's crazy. Look at that. All those face tattoos. These are the dudes y'all love. Y'all love these guys. Shout out to him. No, not a real shout out. I love those guys. Like, he got all the face tattoos. I'm gonna have 20 babies. Let's see what this has to say.
When my hair started.
Nope. I play it the she do got nice hair though. Look at this guy. Yeah, whatever. Look at this guy. He's like, look at my hair. I could do all of the spices. It looks like I'm an anime's characters. That baby's like, I don't know about this hair. Look at this guy. He's like, I'm going to be a cartoon character forever. Look at my hairs. All right, here we go.
Information about what happened the day a Fort Worth rapper and his young daughter were killed at a car wash. Candace Sweat has been combing through the details and joins us from the newsroom. Candace.
Brian, yeah, surveillance cameras at the car wash helps detectives piece together the series of events on the morning of the shooting. It's all laid out in detail in those arrest documents. As a memorial grew for Ronnie Sibley and his 5-year-old daughter Armani, detectives were busy behind the scenes combing through evidence. Since then, 2 suspects have been arrested in the case, 24-year-old Adonis Robinson and 21-year-old Jacoby Russell. In the arrest warrant obtained by NBC5, detectives say surveillance footage shows the suspects arriving at Slappy's car wash in Forest Hills the morning of March 3rd. Sibley was parked there, vacuuming the inside of his car with his daughter in the passenger seat. The affidavit says the 2 suspects rounded the corner of the building and both immediately opened fire, firing multiple shots in the direction of the Dodge Challenger. Ronnie Sibley attempted to flee, but was chased by the suspects who continued to fire in his direction. Police say the shooters were armed with an assault-style rifle and more than 1 handgun. First responders arrived and attempted life-saving measures, but Sibley and his young daughter, found still in the passenger seat, were pronounced dead dead. The document goes on to say the suspects left the scene in a white Kia, which was registered to a woman who said she'd been dating Robinson. While being questioned, detectives said the woman told them Robinson had dropped her off at work that morning and asked to use her car. The affidavit says Robinson called her later, provided the location of the vehicle, and told her to come pick the vehicle up because something had happened.
Yo, I just want to say something real quick. Niggas is weirdos. So you go, take your shorty car, go do a drill, whatever, right? And then you go have her pick it up at a location. Fam, stay out the street. Just stay out the street. It ain't worth it. I promise you. It ain't worth it. I promise you. Just stay out the street. There's other things going on in the world. I know to a lot of people, especially kids, y'all feel like the only thing that exists is the streets. There's nothing else. Nothing else exists, boss. Only the streets. You know what? If anything else existed, I'd do it. But since the only thing that exists is the streets, that's all I'm going to be doing, boss. So you got to let these people know, especially the kids, that other things exist other than the streets. There's other things that exist. You don't got to be in the street. You don't. And I'm speaking specifically to the children that are being neglected, that your parents just ain't around. They probably got their own shit that they dealing with and they're trying. They probably work all day. So the government is basically keeping them away from you because taxes that apparently Democrats love. So taxes over kids for Democrats. So that's who this is for. Some of us was also neglected. All right. You don't have to just. You don't have to. There's other people that have the patience and the time that's out there, that's want to help, that want to help. Be right back.
Everybody knows about Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Today I'm going to give you 6 colleges that I believe are underrated. So the first university I want to talk about is University of Vermont. It is often overlooked because of its location. Who wants to go to Vermont? But the amount of opportunities that it has in internships and research is definitely one of the reasons why it should be looked into instead of overlooked. So the university number 2, New College of Florida. This one provides an individualized plan for those of you who are interested in humanities, and it's another university you should take a look into. So if we take a look at the university number 3, it is not really known outside of southern United States, unfortunately. However, it has a lot of opportunity with the Odyssey program, and it gives you research trips, opportunities to make a real impact.
All right, so homeboy, I'm assuming they didn't even look in the car there. I'm assuming they didn't even know a kid was with her. We are not at a war with the flesh. This is not a war of the flesh. There's powers that we just cannot understand that are at war, and we just in the middle of it. And I say that because understand when your movements are yours and your influence is yours, and when it's outside of something that you would normally do. So, me personally, I have a thing where if I can't interact with you in a positive manner, I just don't interact with you. And it's not a hate thing. I want to be clear on this because sometimes people might perceive this as I don't like them. But in reality, I'm going to protect my peace and your peace. Because obviously, there's something that I do that you dislike. And the thing that I'm doing that you might dislike might be making you do the thing that I dislike. So it's more of an emotional intelligence thing. Because I understand that the war between me and this individual is not of the flesh. So I say all that to say this. When people commit acts like this, that's because there's something else out there that's motivating their behavior. We were not made and created to hate each other the way that we hate each other. This is not our purpose. Our purpose is not to be on the planet to create misery for others. So whenever I see anyone that is purposely trying to cause harm or misery to another individual for no discernible reason, they're just doing evil, I understand what's motivating them. Let's be cognizant of our behavior. This dude, his two of them's, ran up on an individual, gunned him down, gunned down his daughter, 5-year-old daughter. And then lined up the girlfriend to go pick up the hot vehicle. These idiots wasn't even considered. I remember, I'm not going to say who's having these conversations, but I remember being a child and being in certain areas and hearing people talk about crimes that they might have wanted to commit, and then hearing them explain that some crimes are stupid because you can't get away. Why would you want to commit a crime that you cannot get away for? So, you know how many people would still be alive if that principle was applied? I can't get away. If I try to do this to that person, K Flock probably doesn't pull that weapon if he's thinking he can't get away. I'm not going to beat this. I'm talking to Coach the other day. Shout out to Coach Reggie. Coach Wilson's. So I'm talking to Coach the other day. And I'm telling him about a thing. And it's a big story. Like, it's a big thing. It's hard to believe event. Right? This happened, like, I think last week sometime, right? And so I could see him kind of looking at me like nobody considers me to be a liar. But, you know, sometimes you're like, this guy, he's telling, like, these stories this guy tells. I'm going to be honest with you. So, just yesterday, we were at the center. And we're getting everything straight. It's the end of the day. We're getting everything straight. So, something comes up. And I tell him about how the time I put the chainsaw through my leg. And so I pull my leg up and I show the chainsaw. A while back, I used to live in, hold on, I should show you. here, it's all the way through. It's like that, like wide open, right? So I told him the story about how I put the chainsaw through my leg. And so while I'm telling the story, I'm showing them the wound. And like when I first said it, before I showed the wound, I kind of see the same little expression. Like, I know this guy doesn't like, but you know, this has got to be an exaggeration. What the fuck is he talking about? So I show him the thing, and then you see the, and I'm telling this story to say this. We never know. We never know what anybody's been going through. We never know their heights. We never know their lows. Unless we're there, obviously. And what we have to sometimes consider is the behavior that a person is showing us at that time is their behavior. Stop thinking people got some greatness that they hide in or some kind of darkness that they hide in. I was like, I'm never going to forget this day. So I was talking to Miss Priscilla one day and I said, I literally can't lie because I talk too much. And we had a real big laugh about it. But I talk too much. I enjoy to entertain my friends. So if I'm not talking to you, I don't really consider you that much of a friend. Let's be honest with you. Unless you're this one particular chick, I'm always trying to get into. I can't figure out how to get into a conversation with her. It's like every time I get into like, okay, so could we stop the show for a minute? Is there if there's only a little bit of people in here, I'm just gonna tell y'all if there's I could talk about some I could talk about some Jack Frost shit for 2 seconds. There a little bit of people in here. All right, we only got 23 people. I'm talking about Jack Frost shit for like 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. Just bear with me. So that applies to everyone except for one person, okay? So there is one person that I'm constantly trying to get into a conversation with, but it just seems difficult because like the person's smart, so it's hard for me to like easy to get into a conversation, like bullshit your way into a conversation, but the person's smart, so I can't really, it feels like I'm insulting their intelligence every time I try to bull my shit myself into a conversation. So I don't got it halfway figured out yet. I'm gonna try again. I hope I'm successful because apparently like there's this other chick that live in my neighborhood and she's like really aggressively trying to get with me, and she's like super pretty. She's like the prettiest girl in Seagate, like not in Coney Island, but in Seagate. She is the prettiest woman in Seagate. Like, she is really pretty. But the other shorty is I consider her to be the prettiest girl in Coney Island. That's just my opinion. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, in any regard, good problems. So the point at which I was trying to make is, so that doesn't apply for everyone, but generally speaking, if I like you and you're my friend, I'm always trying to entertain you. Like, I'm always like literally trying to think of funny things to say to you. Like even when you're not around, I'm like even when you're not around, like if I think about you, I'm thinking of some funny shit I might try to say to you, or some dope shit that we could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how my brain works. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, in any regard, I just talk about anything. I don't care. I'll be thinking I don't got that many more days left on Earth anyway, so I don't be caring. Let's be honest with you. Yeah, that's how I be feeling, so I don't be caring. And being honest. My fault. I'm thinking about a thing. I should have sent us a commercial. With that being said, let's get back to this whole situation. Homegirl picks up the whip. The cops go contact her. She immediately starts snitching. And I think that she should clear herself. I'm going to tell you something that gets on my nerves. A mofo will commit a crime implicate you against your will. You didn't even know that the crime was going to be committed. And then when they come try to arrest you because the police believe you're part of the crime, or they're going to hold you as accountable for the crime, all you're doing is removing yourself from the equation. Nah, I had nothing to do with this. And by you exonerating yourself by telling the truth, people be like, you snitch. No, nigga. That is not what happened. You want to know what happened? I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. You put me into something that you shouldn't have put me in. I was over there minding my business. I was at work. You asked to hold the whip. You my significant other. I go to sleep next to you. How in the heck was I going to know that you was going to commit a double homo? Nah, fam, I'm not going to jail for this. Stop committing crimes. %. If you can't think of a 100% way to commit that crime and not get caught, don't do it. I promise you, you'll commit less crimes with that mindset. I promise you, way less crimes will be committed. More people need that mindset. You know what? I'm not going to commit the crime unless I can figure out how to get away with it scot-free. If you can't figure out how to get away with it scot-free, don't commit the crime. If more people took that mindset, there'll be less victims. Because most of these crimes you guys are committing, there's no way in the world that you could have considered yourself not going to prison for it. And I hate this mindset. I'll do that. I'm only going to get 5 years. What the hell you mean you're only going to get 5 years, fam? You know how much happens in 5 years? Entire presidencies. I saw a video of a courtroom where there was a kid that was about 15 years old, 14 or 15 years old. And he went and he unalived a football star, a local high school football star. You should have seen how he cried when he heard he was going to be charged as an adult and they wasn't going to give him any bond. Boy broke down. Because he thought because of his age that he could do a unaliving. And then, you know, they're only going to hold him responsible because he's a kid. I want to see that go away. If you pull a gun and you unalive somebody, I don't care what age you are. I think you should be held as an adult. I don't care what age. And I'm going to explain why. Because that football star was about to change the whole trajectory of his family. You didn't just rob them of their son, their loved son, their loved brother. You didn't just rob them of that. You robbed them of a potential future that will be brighter for the next generations to come. So now, let him go do his time. All of it. Every second. I'm tired of this. We have to be sorry for the kid. I'm tired of this. That we have to be sorry for the kid that did the murder because he had a hard life. I got abandoned by my family at the age of 8. I was in second grade going into third grade. They didn't pull back up on me until I turned about 12, 13 years old. I'm not out here doing widow shit. I'm not out here trying to hurt anybody. I'm not out here trying to commit crimes. Was I at one point or another on a different type of time? We all have been. But I've always had a big heart and understood the struggle. See, when you understand the struggle, you're not trying to make other people struggle. It's the people that don't understand the struggle. It's the jealous ones. They envy. So they can't understand the struggle. We have to have patience. And you have to understand that it's Satan's job to exhaust our patience. There's no excuse. I see some of these kids out here and you can see they want to be good. You can see it. Just give them the opportunity. I'll be right back. Commercial break.
Everybody knows about Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Today I'm going to give you 6 colleges that I believe are underrated. So the first university I want to talk about is University of Vermont. It is often overlooked because of its location. Who wants to go to Vermont? But the amount of opportunities that it has in internships and research is definitely one of the reasons why it should be looked into instead of overlooked. So the university number 2, New College of Florida. This one provides an individualized plan for those of you who are interested in humanities, and it's another university you should take a look into. So if we take a look at the university number 3, it is not really known outside of southern United States, unfortunately. However, it has a lot.
I say this all the time, and I'm not saying this to be divisive, but we have to think like this when you're dealing with people. Jesus came for the lost sheep. Think about that. He didn't come for everybody. And I'm not saying that to say that we should condemn anyone at all. I'm not saying that for that purpose. What I'm saying is that we're not supposed to tolerate certain behavior. It's not supposed to be tolerated, because that behavior leads to different behavior. We've become a society that has accepted that sometimes our children kill each other. I don't see how that's not a problem. I hate drill music. Not just because of what it's done to hip hop, but primarily because it confuses our children. I hate everything that confuses our children. There's so many kids out here that if they get the opportunity, you see it. We just have to figure it out. Sometimes I say that when I think I've exhausted all of my resources and I'm asking God for help. And at this point, that's what we need to do. We need to ask God for help. I can't even be concerned if I'm hungry or not when I'm walking through the street and I see kids and I know that they are hungry. What you gonna do? You don't know if it's because the parents got a problem. You don't know if it's neglect. You don't know. You don't know what kind of help to give. I remember being so scared I never asked for help. One of the last things my father told me before they just never came back around again was that if I go outside, people will tell him. So I don't know how to help any of these kids. But I do know that they need help, and we need people in our communities that's going to extend a hand, because some of them just don't know how to ask. They don't know who's going to believe them over their abuser. What time is it? It's only an hour into the show. This is why I just prefer to talk about just politics, you know? You see the kids outside. They don't got nothing to do. There's no direction. You want to help them? They want help. It's wild because the Democrats are going after parents that don't want to give sex changes to their children, but they're not going after parents that neglect their children. Like, there's no onus put on that. And I'm not saying going after these parents to remove the child from the home. I'm saying going after these parents so you could give the family help. Just so I could be clear. Often when someone abuses one person, it's because of their own demons that they're dealing with. They don't even always recognize the abuse that they're dealing out. Then you got the people who do it on purpose because they're malicious. But often, often, not every time, but often, people don't know. The thing that was once a one-time thing now becomes mundane. Now, instead of doing any parenting, hitting your child becomes the go-to. Now, instead of listening to your child so you could help your child and make it a learning experience, yelling and screaming and conversations that lack comprehension for both parties ensue, where both people are speaking but no one knows what anyone is saying. I wasn't going to do a show this morning. I'm going to be honest with you. Shout out to Irv. So I speak to my homie Irv this morning. We talking. And I'm like, yo, Irv, I don't really want to do politics this morning. I said, I got to start doing some hip-hop stuff. I said, what you think we should throw at the wall today? He says, that K-Flock situation. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right, K-Flock. And then I realized that I didn't even realize that the K-Flock thing was going on because guess what? They're not even talking about it in the press. Think about that for a moment. The Associated Press is not talking about the K-Flock situation at all in New York City. That's a rapper that unalived someone on camera. Since when don't they talk about that in New York City? But that's a whole nother conversation. In any regard, then he says, Little Ronnie G. And I'm like, okay. And then I realized something. Do we got any good news to report in the hip hop community? Like ever? Like ever? When was the last time good news was reported in the hip hop community? Like ever? Sometimes I just go to wipe my nose and shit. I'll be like, yeah, I might be thinking of doing something else. When old Ice Spice, let's bring back old Ice Spice. They ruined Ice Spice, boy. I'm sorry I just said that. Her picture just came up on the jump off. They ruined Ice Spice, boy. They ruined her on purpose, though. She asked for it, though. She wanted to deal with them devils and them Satans and all that shit. She asked for it. In any regard, also, I always thought I liked girls that were redheads. Apparently, I don't like red hair. I like chestnut hair, apparently. Go figure. I did not know this. I did not know this. And I'm looking back at it. And I'm like, you know what? My daughter's mother is chestnut. Because one time me and my daughter's mother was having a conversation a while back. This is just random conversations. My daughter was young. My daughter's about, for everybody that don't know, they live in a different state. And when my daughter was young, I used to go visit them once a week, every month. That I just learned about her. And I wasn't there when she was born. I wanted another kid so bad. You have no idea. You have no idea how much I want another child. You have no idea how badly I want to raise a kid. You have no idea. In any regard, so I forgot why I started telling you that story. I started thinking about how much I was. For real though. In any regard, oh, so her hair. One time we had a conversation, and I was like, here in New York, and she was where she lives, and we was on the phone and we was talking, and I mentioned that she was a redhead, and she said, no, I'm not a redhead, my hair's chestnut. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. So then the next time I saw her, I was like, hey, that's not red. But I always thought up into that moment that, I was like, I like so apparently I do like redheads. Let's not get that confused. But apparently chestnut is the color that I have been confusing all of these years. So shout out to that shit. I don't know what to tell you. In any regard, yeah, Old Ice Spice, bring her back. You know why they got rid of her though, right? They fucked her body and all that shit up because she was bringing back natural women. Natural women is the win. I'm not knocking BBL chicks. I'm not knocking chicks that go get booed. But I don't even like big breasts. Every chick I seem to date has big breasts apparently. But I'm not even really a big fan of big breasts. I like petite women. I don't know what to tell you. I like petite women. I'm not even shape. Boobs is great. But you got like a nice cup over there. It's nice, it's fine. I don't need some shit you could go like that with. What the hell, fam? But I tend to consistently date chicks with big boobs, but it's not on purpose. It's just that's just the way it happens. I don't know. Also, a majority of the chicks I dated, I didn't know I was in a relationship with or shit like that. And then, things happen. At least two of them, I was going to say something that's funny, but I'm not going to say it because these are great women. It was a good one. But at least two of them, I was... Funny story. I'm going to tell this one. So I met this chick, right? Show's over. I'm talking my own business. So I met this chick... I'm not going to say her name. First of all, I want to say her body was absolutely incredible. She was petite but thick, if that make any sense. She was short. She wasn't voluptuous, but the curves was retarded. And she was super dark skinned. She was dark skinned. This was my Foxy Brown era. So I was a big Foxy Brown fan. So I was basically, we was doing stuff for a year and a half before I realized I was supposed to be her man, because on the day I met her, she told me she wasn't looking to have a relationship. So I never even considered that would ever change. I never even considered it. So I used to have a homeboy named Kev. Shout out to Kev. He used to live down the hall from me. So we used to go to his crib because his mom's, the job she had, she used to be out of town or some shit like that. She was never in town. I don't know what she was. She could be a spy or some shit. I don't know what the hell she was. But she was never in town. That's all I know. So basically we just lived there. He just lived there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, in any regard. So one day, because we used to always have chicks over at the crib, because that was the crib. You know what I'm saying? We went over there, played video games, went over there, watched movies. You know what I'm saying? That's where I saw the movie Kids at, by the way. They was telling me about the movie Kids for a long time, and I was just like, that doesn't sound like... Then I saw it, and I was like, this is happening? In any regard. And just so we could be clear, he's the type of kid, not with all the drugs, but that type of... shit that was in the movie. Them was not street niggas. All of my other niggas was street niggas. These niggas was not street niggas. You understand what I'm saying? I had some other niggas that was, okay, so the building I lived in was 1020 Executive Towers. It's in the middle of the hood, but the majority of the people that live there is lawyers and doctors and shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just It's in the middle of the hood though. Like we got like mad lawyers' offices was in the building. Like they had a whole floor you couldn't even go on because it was just offices. So it was like that type of building. You understand what I'm saying? Like doctors' offices was on the side of the building. Like it was that type of building. 1020 Grand Concourse. You could go check it. In any regard. So we had this chick crib chilling one day. So shorty that I had been messing with, we invite them over, her friends. Now I'm about, I don't know, 18. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm about 18. You know what I'm saying? 17, 18. I don't know. I'm young. They like, I don't know, 16. Like they was like getting ready to graduate or whatever, right? But I had been messing with shorty since I was like, I started messing with shorty. I was 17 when I started messing with her, and she was about 16 when I met her. So anyway, in any regard, so we at the crib. So it's a whole bunch of high school kids, high school girls, and like high school kids anyway, because a couple of my homies, they were still in high school too. So it's like, so we all in the crib, right? And it's not, it's after school, by the way, because they was in like Catholic school, by the way. She was in like some kind of all-girls school. So we there, and they standing around me, and I'm like in a fucking circle, fam. I don't even understand this shit. So they all standing around me like this, all the chicks, and they all asking me questions and shit. So I'm turning around, I'm like, what the hell is going on? So apparently, I was her man. I had no idea. I found out that day. I was dating this other chick. She was like 26, 27. I had to cut her off, so that was uncomfortable. Then I was also dating this other chick also, and I just stopped dating her, period, because she didn't want to come back to the crib no more because my pops walked in on her. So it was a lot going on. It was a lot going on. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all. It was a lot going on, fam. It was a lot going on. Shout out to Kev. Shout out to, you know who? He comes in the chat every now and then. Next time I see Chris. Chris, he lived in the building with me. He come in the chat every now and then. Next time I see him, I'm gonna be like, yo, Chris, remember? He gonna be like, I don't know if he remembers that situation, but he remembers the situation with Kev. I think he was there too, because me and Chris was always together. He lived in the building also. So I think he was there too. Because he used to mess with her. Wait, I was always trying to hook him up with the friend. I don't know if he got with the friend though. But I was always trying to, because that's good. Always running around. There's a ton of girls out there and shit. Like, we 17, boom, 16, 17. Just graduated from high school. I got all the time in the world. I met her my first year graduating from high school. That's how come I knew how old I was. It was, I graduated the summer, and then I met her. She was good people, too. She was super good people. She was quiet. Shout out to, I was going to say her name. She was quiet. I liked her a lot. She was quiet. I wish I did more stuff for her, though. Like, remember, I didn't, like, grow up, like, in an environment where I was able to watch a man treat a woman well. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up in that environment, so I had to learn that. That's why shout out to Kendra. I had to learn that. You know what I'm saying? But I wish I would have took her out and did stuff with her more. Just to be outside and doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want to be outside and doing shit. That's all. Let's go for a walk and just talk. You know what I'm saying? I'll be on it like that. Like, that shit is dope. You don't never know what you're going to get into. You don't never know. You might get into some dope shit. You don't ever know. I'm super easy. Like, super easy. Like, super easy. Literally, all you got to do is talk to me. That's why I said, that's why, that chick down the block, man. Every time she see me, she pull me over and talk to me. I'm like, I might end up banging her sooner or later. Every time I see her, she pull me over and talk to me. Like, I mean, there's a language barrier. But she is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. She's blonde, too. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice too. Like nice. Like beautiful, beautiful. But my heart is somewhere else. I don't know if that's gonna happen though, to be honest with you. I think she's dating somebody. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she's dating somebody. God's gonna be mad at me and I'm gonna move on. And then I'm gonna be stuck like this again for who knows how much longer. In any regard, is there anything y'all guys want to talk about? Put it in the chat. I know this is early and this will be me getting off early, but I have only a little bit of cardboard left and I have to build these kids a thing that I got to put together today because I promised them. I do not have an X-Acto knife. I need an X-Acto knife, but I'm going to try with the scissors again. I've been doing it good, perforating the box and then cutting, but I don't know. I didn't like the previous designs, so we're going to get it together. We're going to do some designs. Get somewhere. I'm gonna make a belt. If I make the belt, I'm making a belt out of cardboard, and depending on how well they maintain the belt and keep the belt, we're gonna see where we're gonna go from there. Because we got a thing going on, and I like it, and it's fun, and I got other ideas for more things. But we're gonna get one thing off the ground at a time, and then we're gonna open up for other things. You got to keep these kids busy, and not just that, but it got to be fun, and healthy. So you got to find an activity for them that's fun and healthy, and you keep them busy, and they working out, they exercising, they being healthy, they staying out of trouble, and they enjoying themselves. And what more is there? Learning. What more is there? Like, whenever you have a teachable moment, you do not let it go to waste. Every little tiny teachable moment, you do not let it go to waste. But we don't hit them over the head with a sledgehammer. We whisper it into their ear. We're trying to encourage and motivate positive behavior, not just in the child, but towards the community from the child. We want the child to interact with the community in a manner that's going to make the community interact with the child in a good manner also, so that child could grow in a positive way. A lot of times it's hard to grow in a positive way if we're interacting with our environment in a negative way. It's like, how can you grow in a positive way? So we want to encourage greatness out of these children because everyone has greatness in them. It's just whether they want to share it with the world or not. Well, first they got to recognize it. Then it's whether they want to share it with the world or not. It's just that simple. Really, it's just that simple. We complicate the matter because of jealousies, envies. I don't really understand jealousy but so much. I mean, I understand the premise of somebody else having something that you want, but I don't understand how you could be upset over that. So I guess I understand it, but not really. I'm just naive to some things. And that's another reason why I try to keep my circle small. I'm naive to some things. There's just certain things that I just do not understand. Because as far as I'm concerned, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm just naive to certain things. But I'm happy that I'm that way. I'm happy that God made me that way. Because by me being naive to certain things, it allows me to connect to people on a level that some people just can't. Think about it. Almost every person you see on the internet talking crazy about me either wants to be my friend or was my friend at one point or another, and the only reason why they're talking bad about me is because they want to be my friend again. You have no idea how cautious I am to be friendly to people sometimes. I'm just cautious. I want to be friendly to everybody. Let's not get this confused. I'm just super cautious. Everyone on the internet that's making all these weirdo ass whatever's about me was either my friend at one point and I just don't want to be friends with them no more, or they're people that want to be my friend but I don't want to be their friend because of the type of person that they seem to be to me. You're not going to go worship Satan and then try to act like you could be cool with me and I'm okay with it because you're not doing nothing bad to me even though you're over there worshiping Satan. No, you're part of the enemy. What are you talking about? Whether you're doing evil to me or not, you're busy attacking God. Even if it's not in front of my eyes, that doesn't mean that you're not doing it. You attacking God is worse than you attacking me. What are you talking about? You know, the majority of the disagreements that I have with people, I disagree with them on a theological level. It's not me disagreeing with them because I don't like the thing that they're doing and or saying. Many times, I might not even really disagree with them from a perspective of the flesh, but from a perspective of the spirit, which supersedes the flesh as far as I'm concerned. I absolutely disagree with what you're talking about. So a lot of times people just think that I'm just, that's why sometimes when people argue with me, I'm like, I'm not saying a thing that's my opinion. Interesting. Anything y'all want to talk about? Because I'm just BSing at this point. We will try to start. I'm not guaranteeing anything. We will try to start making it to K-Flock's court dates come Monday. Reason why come Monday, because I don't believe there's going to be a date on Friday. Usually these cases, court dates are held on Friday, generally speaking. Besides the actual, a lot of people don't know this, but besides the actual trial that they might be doing at any given moment, there's other court business that needs to happen. Like there's the judge needs to make decisions on matters like involving that case that the jury can't see. So they'll be like, we'll handle that on Friday. No jury come in, right? And you got situations where they have other cases that they still have to arraign and all these other things that got going on. And so they'll do all that type of stuff like on Friday. Or whatever other business they have to do that's, outside of that case. They'll do on Friday or whatever the case got to be. Or they just having orgies. I have no idea, but this is what they're telling us they're doing. I don't know what they're actually doing. Because I hate when you tell somebody, yo, this is what they said they was doing. And then somebody be like, no, man. Like the other day when I was trying to make a point. I'll say what the point is real quick. And this is not me shooting at the person who made the comment. I just want to make a point. So I said, they're trying to say Elon Musk wants to steal America's taxpaying money. Right? They said Elon Musk wanted to steal taxpayers' money, right? Remember that? Elon Musk wanted to steal taxpayers' money. So I made a comment saying, just so we could be clear. And also just so we could be clear, the person who made the comment, right, is now commenting under a different name, talking about saying something negative, but I just kicked them. So I'm going to explain this perspective on why I believe the situation happened. So I said, because I was making a point. They said Elon Musk wanted to steal taxpayers' money. So I made a point that allegedly or whatever, there's people stuck in space. Now, you should know what I'm talking about if you're one of those people that don't believe that space exists. I'm going to say that again. If you're one of those people that don't believe that space exists, you didn't hear space when I said that. You heard something else. On our platforms, there's things that we can talk about, and there's things that if we talk about it, we're going to get in trouble with the algorithm. So there's just certain ways that we need to speak. So when I was trying to make the point that Elon Musk is so rich that he has a craft that no one else on the planet has, that was the point. That's it. That was the point. For the person to come in and say, so you believe in space? Why are you trying to start an argument with me? If you're a person that don't believe in space, you should have heard something else. You're just a person who wants to start an argument. Now, whether I believe in space or not is not relevant to the conversation. What's relevant to the conversation is Elon Musk does not need to steal taxpayers' money. That's insane. Elon Musk has so much money that he can basically get a loan from anywhere. Anywhere. Elon Musk has more money than I think they said the nation of Russia or some shit like that. Some ridiculous shit they said. So I was just making the point that he has a craft that no one else has. That's it. So you got to pay attention when Satan comes through. Satan is so often going to pretend to be being friendly, but they're not. Not at all. There's no friendliness in them. That dude was just in here to try to create an issue or a problem. That's it. And they gonna be like, yo, you paranoid. I'm not paranoid, fam. I'm paying attention. More importantly, whether I'm paranoid or not, that was not a situation where paranoia would apply. Is that a better way to put it? Let's say I'm the most paranoid person that's ever paranoid or paranoid. It still wouldn't apply in that particular situation. Copy? Be mindful. What you also have to realize is often I'm actually real good at debating. I just don't like to debate people because they like to do what ifs, and I don't want to debate with what ifs. That don't make sense. Once you start giving people facts, they say, well, but what if? You just heard Trump. That was the issue that he just had with Zelensky. When Trump was like, yeah, we're going to do a peace deal with Russia. And Zelensky said, but what if they don't honor, how could we do anything off of what ifs? What the fuck are you talking about? You could what if anything, so we're never supposed to do anything? So anytime we want to do something that you don't particularly think is the right idea, you're going to what if us until we do what you want us to do. Sounds like narcissism. Sounds like manipulation. Tell me where the lie's at. Anyway, I'm a bit to get up out of here. I'm gonna let y'all go. I really wasn't even gonna do a show this morning. The other day, And I feel bad about this. Let me tell you about what happened. So the other day, I'm in the center, and one of the kids come up, and they want to do this game that we play, right? It's a workout exercise game. Hold on. Somebody's trying to flame me. Nope. Not even going to argue with you, fam. I'm just going to block you. See how I do? Boom. Last time I tried to argue with one of you niggas, then the next thing I know, all types of different weirdo shit that was not necessary started happening. People was weirdos, yo. People don't know what masculinity is. People think masculinity is femininity. Masculinity is not all of this emotional shit that y'all motherfuckers is doing every 5 minutes. That's not masculinity, fam. It is what it is, though. You know, fuck it. Niggas, it's not all of this emotional shit y'all niggas is doing. Y'all niggas do all of the most emotional shit. That's not masculinity, man. It's not. Not at all. Not at all. When you're standing in the middle of the street yelling over nothing, that's not a masculinity, fam. When you're being sensitive and that sensitivity makes you now want to fight, that's not masculinity, man. Now all of a sudden you want to fight a guy over nothing. That's not mad. That's the opposite of masculinity, literally. I'm not trying to knock people, but it's some of y'all didn't have a man in your household at all, and y'all only had females in your household, and it's obvious. I had no one in my household, so that's why I'm the way I am. It was just me. So that's why I'm the way I am. I'm just going to keep it a stack with you. I had 0 people in my household. It was me. Right? A lot of y'all, you could tell that y'all grew up with, you know, women imprinted on you. And I mean, it is fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know? I was, my stepmother entered my life around 14, 15 years old, and I appreciate everything I've ever learned from her. I appreciate her spending time with me. All the way up until I was in my 20s, I would just go to her house and just to watch TV with her, you know, up until she passed, you know. It is what it is. Yeah. We watch TV. That's my love language. I don't know. Quality time. It is what it is. I'm going to let y'all go. Everybody, just have a blessed day. Go out there into the world. Do something worth doing. Stamp God's name on it. Let people know that you come in the name of God. You know? Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. That's all I got on this one.
Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.